Hey y'all, my name's Taylor. I'm a therapist and I love metal music. So let's listen to Polaris, talk about how you can use these lyrics to hopefully improve your mental health. But before we get into that, I have to tell you about something incredible. It's our support wall. It's a place where you can post about what you're struggling with, and our community will respond with love and support. And the best part is it's right here on YouTube. All you have to do is tag @HeartSupport in the comments and share what you're going through, big or small, and our community will reply with support and encouragement. So at any point in this video, if something comes up in you, just @HeartSupport, type, and you'll receive some love and care. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, I'm nervous to do this reaction. I think I might cry, but we're gonna react to Polaris's Nightmare. I haven't listened to it yet. 2, 1, click. Oh my god, it's so good.
What does it mean to be a captain in the confines of your mind? What does it mean to be a hostage to the enemy inside? We've been there before. I guess we were nothing. This times we're opening night. The planets collide as we all stop and stare to chain into notice. We're living in a nightmare, a pre-apocalyptic wasteland. Is there no one who can
Adds to playlist immediately.
if we refuse to save ourselves? Our best intentions pave our path to hell. I see the shadows dance on the walls as voices echoing empty halls. It makes my stomach sink as I close my eyes and beg for sleep. Chaos kills the calm, fingers through my palms. I can't make it stop. Somebody take the chair and fucking wake me up. Stay afloat and past will never be enough. And all we find is the night.
That line, that's so good.
The more we struggle to cut ourselves loose, every cry rings out like a shot. The streets run red as the forest wither and rot, declaring with their final breath. Eternal fear is the fate, worse than death. Worse than death. But no one's gonna save us if we won't fucking save ourselves. Our best intentions pave our lives to the pre-apocalyptic wasteland. And there's no one who can save us if we refuse to save ourselves. Our best intentions pave our path to
Wow, that was amazing. Like Polaris really just out here and freaking did it. Oof, that's so good. Okay, there's so many lines in this song that I was just like, this is so beautiful. Okay. Ooh, where do we begin? I also love when a song like starts with a question. Like this phrase starts as a question. Is there no one who can save us if we refuse to save ourselves? And then it ends as a statement of there's no one who can save us if we refuse to save ourselves. And let's start there because it is so true. There is no one who can put in the work of healing for us. There is no one who can want us to heal, who can support us enough that we will heal if they are putting in more work than we are. I often say this in terms of my clients is I can't be putting in more work into this therapy, into your healing than you are. I can help you, I can support you, but I cannot want this more than you. And so often we beat ourselves up because someone we love isn't healing and we feel like it's our fault. And this happens when we lose someone that we love, especially to suicide. We feel like we should have done more. But the truth is you cannot save someone who is not trying as hard as you are to save themselves. You can support, you can come alongside, but you cannot save someone who isn't putting in equal or more effort into saving themselves as you are. And it can be really frustrating because we often see in other people the steps that they need to take in order to heal, or we think we can see, right? Like, oh, if they just did this and this and they stopped thinking this way, then they would feel better and it would be better and we could be together or their life would be better or whatever it might be. And it can be so frustrating and painful to watch someone that you love not want to heal as badly as you want them to heal. And it's such a hard place to be in. It's such a harsh reality that no one can save us if we refuse to save ourselves. So let's say someone is in the water and they're drowning and you're standing on shore. Not doing anything would be like, oh, that person is drowning. They're struggling. Oops. Then if you want to come in and help someone and be alongside someone, you dive into the water, you try to help them and pull them out, right? They're putting an effort too to get out of the water. But what isn't going to work is if they're drowning and you dive in and they just decide to be dead weight. If they see a lead block and they put it onto their ankle and they want to go down or they just don't want to try, you're not going to be able to get them to shore by yourself because they have to be committed to their healing in the way that you're committed to their healing. And it sucks. But we are not put on this earth to save anyone but ourselves. And sometimes we put in more energy into the healing of other people because actually it's easier and less frightening and feels less complicated than putting into energy into saving ourselves. Because when we look at someone else's life, we think that we see because we don't live inside their body, we don't live inside their experience. So we think we see all of the steps. But sometimes when we reflect and look back at us, it seems more complicated. So we just put our energy elsewhere and try to save them. But the truth is that does both them and us a disservice. Because for however long you are putting more energy into someone else's healing than they are putting into theirs, you are enabling them to stay where they are, and you are missing out on the healing that you could have if you put that same energy into healing all of the wounds in your life. Do you feel like you're putting more energy into someone else's healing than they are? Share in the comments by tagging @HeartSupport and we'll reply with encouragement. Our best intentions pave our path to hell. I talk about this often with my clients. There is a huge difference between impact and intention. Just because there's a positive intention does not mean that the impact of an action is positive. Intention can be good, and the impact of an action can still be bad. And intention still matters, right? Let's think about it in a court of law. If there's a murder charge in a court of law, first degree, second degree, third degree manslaughter. Manslaughter is when there is an accident. If there was no intention of harming someone else, right? And a person would receive less jail time than first degree murder, where there's premeditated intent to harm. So even in a court of law, intention matters. But what is also is important in that it is that in both cases, the person is still receiving a consequence. Often when someone's intention is good, we let them off the hook. And sometimes that's fine. If the action and the impact of their action wasn't too painful, then maybe we just let them off the hook. We let them know that this caused us pain, and then we go on with our lives. But sometimes, because an individual's intentions are pure, even though their impact of their actions is consistently painful, we allow them to continue being in our lives, or we make excuses for ourselves, right? Well, I had good intentions, so it's okay. When actions that are well-intended and consistently have negative impacts go unchecked and unaddressed for a period of time, that is when our best intentions pave our path to hell. We have to have people in our lives, and we have to hold ourselves accountable for not just our intention behind our actions, but the actual impact of our actions, so that we are moving on a path forward instead of on a path to pain. Do you feel like sometimes your best intentions lead you down a bad path? Share in the comments by tagging at HeartSupport, and we'll encourage you. What does it mean to be captive in the confines of your mind? As a therapist, I think this is a really interesting question, and I spend a lot of my days with people who, to some degree or another, are captive in their own mind. And what I've found is that to truly be captive in your mind means that you probably have a really tight grip, like won't let go of a belief about yourself, one of three beliefs, actually. And even if there's evidence against it, even if this belief is causing you pain, if there's this tight grip on one of these three beliefs of I'm unworthy, I'm alone, or it'll never get better, you're likely captive in your own mind. And getting set free can be different degrees of challenging depending on how tight your grasp is. But believing one of those things is so painful that it actually creates a prison in your mind, but in your life. Because when you believe these things, you become limited to these beliefs. Your life is like a jail. You can only get so far. You can only do so much. Whereas when you don't believe these things, the possibilities become endless. And the gap between being captive in prison and being free from your mind can feel really big, and it can take a lot of time and a lot of commitment. And I'm honored that I get to see so many people every day make that commitment. But it's hard. And I bet there's people watching this right now that are thinking, yeah, but that's not a belief that I have about myself. That's just something that's true. I'm not good enough. Or I am alone. Or it will never get better. It's not even a belief. It's just the truth of my life and my situation. And if that is you, oh my gosh, I love you so freaking much. And I have been you, and I see people like you every day. And it's okay that you're there right now. I hope that you will share that you're there right now, because that's the first place to start. So if you feel like you're not good enough, if you feel like it'll never get better, if you feel like you're alone, please share in the comments by tagging out HeartSupport, and we'll encourage you. I really like this line, and I just want to touch on it. Spare your thoughts and prayers, they'll never be enough. I think that belief, that phrase has become really polarizing. Like, I don't want your thoughts and prayers. And I actually think that it's really, really valid. And here's why. And I am a person who prays. So keep that in mind. If you're not, that's okay with me. I love you either way. But I think that there's so much truth to this statement. I think what happens is that pain as a society, grief often makes us uncomfortable. We don't know what to do with it. We're not taught how to solve it or how to be with it like we are a math equation. So we just try to brush over it, to speed over it, right? And so we'll say, oh, well, I'm thinking of you. My thoughts or prayers are with you. And for someone that's in deep pain, that is kind. And like, I believe in the power of prayer, but it's actually probably not what they need in the immediate, right? They need immediate support. And oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes when people say that, it's a way for them to get off the hook from sitting with someone else in their pain. And what we need as a society is to be willing to sit with other people in their pain. We don't have to know what to say. We don't have to know what to do. We don't even have to say anything. But the best thing that we can do for people who are hurting is just say, I'm here, and then to actually show up, to bring the casserole, to send the, hey, how are you doing text, to ask them what they need, and to try to provide it if we can. And saying things like, I'm sending my thoughts and prayers, or I'm sending good vibes, can be nice if we're not, really too close with the person and we don't want to overstep. But if this is a person in our life, we have to be committed to showing up for them the way that we would want them to show up for us. And maybe prayer is something that you would want, but I imagine that you would need some other things in the immediate as well. So if you've been frustrated by someone who said that to you while you're hurting, I get it. And I'd love for you to share about that in the comments by tagging at HeartSupport. Okay, I love Polaris. And I love the way that they have continued on to honor Ryan's legacy, to create more beauty, and to keep celebrating life. I'm really grateful for this album, for this song. I think it's really beautiful and relatable for a lot of people who are struggling. So if that's you, I love you. You don't have to do it alone. Share how you're feeling in the comments by tagging at HeartSupport, and we'll encourage you. See you next time.
No one's gonna save us if we won't fucking save